Welcome to Monday Morning Dharma on December 5th. Thank you all for being here. Some of you are joining us for these Friday classes for the first time. Welcome. Um, we start every class with a meditation, usually with some guidance, sometimes with some mornings we'll have more guidance than others. Um, and that meditation will last 15 minutes or so. And then we'll get into a short Dharma talk. Um, I think, as most of you know, we're sort of entering into kind of a different territory. In the past, I've tried to make these Dharma talks sort of not associated with any one particular path or religion, based on input from our Monday, Wednesday regulars. Folks were appealing for, let me see if I can remember, three things. One is to continue studying from a text, from a book that over the last couple of years, we've referred to a book and kind of gone through the book from cover to cover. Folks said they like that. Please continue. Um, Folks asked for more foundational teachings, regardless of the path, sort of like more essential principles of Dharma practice and Dharma study. Dharma, of course, being a word that translated loosely means wisdom teachings, wisdom teachings. And then the third component, folks said they'd like to learn a little bit more about Buddhism in particular. So we'll see what we can do about accommodating those three requests. For now, why don't we settle into a comfortable meditation posture? The most important feature of a good meditation posture is for our spine to be straight and relaxed. A straight spine facilitates unrestricted flow of our internal energy winds, sometimes called prana, sometimes called chi. Our mouth is closed, our jaw is relaxed. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and softly close your eyes. And to begin, I'd like you to please bring your awareness to the exhalation of your breath. And very gently, allow your exhalation to be just a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please feel free to experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. Now is not the time to reflect on events that have occurred in the past. Those events cannot be changed, undone, or recreated. Nor is this the time to speculate about events that may or may not occur in the future. The future is unknown to us at this time. Now is the time to be fully present here in this moment. Now is the time to give yourself full permission to enjoy engaging in a practice that's going to bring you a peaceful state of mind. And at the same time, create the causes for you to experience a peaceful world. There is an aspect of the body that is referred to sometimes as the inner body. Some schools of meditation refer to it as the subtle body. And by coming into contact with your inner body, you can make manifest a more supple, tranquil state of awareness. So, to accomplish this, I'd like you to please draw your awareness inside of your body and become aware of sensations. These sensations may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow a more tranquil, awakened state of awareness to emerge. The natural tendency of these sensations is for them to travel up into your arms and your legs, perhaps into the region of your chest, perhaps into your face and your cheeks. To inform your meditation, you may find it beneficial to bring to mind the image of a mountain. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable. Day after day, year after year, the mountain simply observes silently. Snow may fall on the mountain, accumulate, and then disappear. A nearby river may rise and then recede. A flock of migrating birds may fly past the mountain. The mountain simply observes silently. No judgment, no labeling, no comparing, no expectation. For the last few moments of our meditation, please be like a mountain as you silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. Now, very gently, please redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of limitless space beyond the blue sky. And we dedicate all of the positive energy, all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception be completely free from all forms of emotional and physical suffering. May all beings without exception be happy, peaceful, contented, and free. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. Thank you, and welcome back. So, I think most of the folks here in this participating in the class came expecting to hear a story about the life of Buddha. And I'm hoping there will be a little bit of time for that at the end of the class. I've got to do, I hope it's okay with everybody, I've got to do a little bit of housekeeping follow-up from last Friday's class in which we talked about mindfulness and being present in the moment. As I told folks last Friday, I came across this book that I'm really enjoying called 1001 Ways to Live in the Present Moment. And it's just like the little vignettes to help us be present in the now. And we had a good lively conversation last Friday, and I didn't get a chance to make a couple of what I consider to be essential points with regard to being present in the moment, being mindful of the moment, and kind of what might constitute our practice during the meditation break. In the meditation world, there's sort of like two worlds or two modes of existence: practice during the meditation session and practice during the meditation break. And a lot of these little vignettes from 1001 Ways to Live in the Moment um, um, have to do with practice during the meditation break. So one of the techniques that I think it was technique number 6 in the 1001 Ways. The author of the book said to focus on a song that you hear on the radio. And this book was written in 2001, so I don't think things like Spotify and YouTube had come into existence yet. But anyways, to sort of like listen to a song and really listen to it and be present with the song. And then the author took it a step further and said, think about the meaning of the lyrics and sort of what the writer of the song might have been experiencing or aspiring to in authoring the song, putting down the words to the song. And I like objected to that a little bit as I shared with the Friday group. And that my objection is that what gets us into trouble a lot of times in our daily lives is making up stories, right? There's an event, something happens, and we think, oh, why did this person say that? Why did they say that that way? It must have been something that I did previously that influenced, and just off we go in the creation of a story. And I don't know about you guys, but I want to try to avoid anything that might encourage me to make up stories more than I already do, including trying to predict what the writer of a song might have been feeling or thinking when he or she wrote the song. So anyways, we talked about that, and that basically took up the entire class. And it prevented me from making a couple of points about mindfulness, about being mindful. And in in previous classes, I have talked about, encouraged us to not limit focusing on sensations within the body, sensations in our hands and our feet, maybe the region of our chest, that practice doesn't have to be limited to our formal meditation sessions. We can do it really anytime. And as some of you regulars know, one of my favorite times is when we're standing in line somewhere, kind of standing in line, and our sort of mindfulness may tend to go away. And we're sort of like seeing how fast the line is moving, maybe in the grocery store, seeing magazines on the checkout counter and seeing what's happening with the latest celebrity news and whatever the distraction might be. Why not draw our awareness back to sensations in the inner body and just use that opportunity to be present with the sensations in our body? And that's a form of mindfulness practice, but it's kind of sort of being present in the moment. I mean, what that really is meditating while you're standing in line. A little bit different from practicing mindfulness as it's typically presented in Dharma circles. Totally fine. We want to meditate while we're standing in line at the post office and doing something other than getting frustrated by the person who can't seem to get it together with the credit card they're trying to pay for their payment with, and just whatever our source of frustration might be, and just meditate. Just like come back to the breath, come back to sensations in the inner body, whatever it might be. But still, that's a little bit different from mindfulness. That's a form of mindfulness. It's a traditional mindfulness practice. But I think when we think about being present in the moment, a lot of us are concerned with being present with what is in front of us at any particular moment. Being present with what we're doing, not even focusing this point with why we're doing it, just being with the isness. In Zen circles, they call it the isness of the moment, without any reasons, without any justification, being present with whatever or whomever is in front of us at any particular moment. And there's a story I'd like to share with you about this from one of my favorite books, 101 Zen Stories. Okay. 101 Zen Stories. And this story is called Every Minute Zen. Every Minute Zen. Zen students are with their masters, as in Zen masters. Students are with their Zen masters at least 10 years before they presume to teach others. Nanin, N-A-N--I-N, who is Zen master, was visited by his student Tenno, who, having passed his apprenticeship, had become a teacher. The day happened to be rainy, so Tenno wore wooden clogs and carried an umbrella. After greeting him, Nanin remarked, "I suppose you left your wooden clogs in the vestibule. I want to know if your umbrella is on the left or right side of the clogs." Tenno, confused, had no instant answer. He realized that he was unable to carry his Zen, or his mindfulness, was unable to carry his Zen every moment. Thus, he became Nanin's pupil, his student, and he studied 6 more years in order to accomplish his every minute Zen, or every minute mindfulness. And I think those are the types of experiences we might be talking about when we talk about being present with whatever is in front of us at any given moment. Like, where am I setting down my keys? Maybe, hopefully it'll rain at some point and we'll need an umbrella. Like, am I putting my umbrella like handle up or tip up, to the right of my shoes, to the left? And not why I'm doing, but just what am I doing? I'm present with what is. And the secret of this is that, as with kind of spoiler alert, as it is with any sort of meditation practice, whether it's practice during the meditation session or the meditation break, a big part of it is ceasing the compulsive thinking mind. There's a place for thinking, there's a place for conceptual thought, but we should decide when we're applying conceptual thought and thinking rather than just being at the mercy of our thinking mind taking us wherever it wants to, whenever it wants to. Last little example I want to share with you on this point is I worked with it kind of illustrates this point. I think maybe some of us can relate to this. I worked in a restaurant, and one of the my fellow staff members used to, get sort of busy or preoccupied with something, and he would walk to like a cooler, a walk-in cooler, and he would stand there and he would say, "I'm standing here for a reason." Like he forgot from the time he went to go get something, he walked to the cooler and forgot why he was there, and then had to remember. And, you know, maybe some of us can relate to that story. Anyways, 8:58 on Friday, I promise that we'll get into the story of Buddha, of a Buddha, not the Buddha. And that is something that I would like to impress on everybody, before we get into the life story of Buddha, is that the Buddha at the time, before he became an awakened being, was regular man. His name was Gautama Siddhartha. Gautama Siddhartha, or Siddhartha Gautama. It appears different ways. But he applied himself to attaining full awakening, achieving a state of full awakening or enlightenment, awakening from the sleep of ignorance. It's kind of how it's typically referred to. And what's really important to note is that, I think for our purposes here this morning, is that Siddhartha Gautama achieving awakening was not a one-off thing, right? He made this achieved this amazing state, and then ultimately said, okay, I accomplished this. This is the best, right? I'm not sure he used those exact words, but to be completely liberated from suffering, this is a good place to be. And I'm going to teach others how to do it, right? I did it. Others can too. I'm going to show them what I experienced, how I did it, in the name of giving everybody an opportunity to be liberated from the sufferings of daily life, ignorance, desires, attachment, anger, all these states of mind that torment us. So sometimes Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha Shakyamuni, after he attained awakenment, is referred to as the Buddha. But I would invite you to feel free to drop the word the, because the suggests that there was only one. In my subjective way of thinking, there was only one and there can only be one. No, it's available to all of us. It's available to all of us. And that's going to be the point of departure for where we go in this class, starting with the life of Buddha, which will take 3 or 4 classes, I think maybe 2 or 3 classes, the Four Noble Truths, which is the first teaching that Buddha gave after he attained enlightenment. And then fast forward 1900 years to the 1700 years to the Lamrim meditations, which are a sequential 21 consecutive practices which constitute the path to achieving full awakening. So we do all 21 Lam Rim meditations and go back to number one and do them in succession over and over and over, and thus learn about and hopefully experience a path to awakening and salvation, freedom from suffering. So 901. Thank you for being here, you guys. Have a great week. Happy New Year. And
Thank you.
Jeff.
your
Thank you, Jeff.
Zoom.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for joining in.